Community anger has been growing since former Liberal staffer Brittany Higgins publicly alleged she was sexually assaulted on a couch inside a minister's office at Australian Parliament House. If women were not safe inside the most secure group of offices inside the most secure building in Australia, were they safe anywhere? After details emerged about how Higgins was treated in what appears a cover-up, allegations of sexual assault in 1988 by Attorney General Christian Porter became public. Prime Minister Scott Morrison's refusal to stand down his Attorney General while an independent inquiry is held was the final straw leading to thousands of women taking to the streets around the country. In October 2020, member for Indi Helen Haines introduced two private members' bills, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Standards Bill and Australian Federal Integrity Commission Bill. NoFib spoke to Helen Haines about her bills as thousands were gathering outside Parliament House to march for justice.
In October last year, I introduced two bills to Parliament. One was widely publicised. That was the Australian Federal Integrity Commission Bill 2020, which was to establish a robust Federal Integrity Commission that would be fit for purpose to undertake full investigations of allegations of corruption in this place, but more importantly, or as importantly, it would set up a culture of integrity in the federal parliament. Now, alongside that bill was a second bill, a sister bill, if you like, called the Commonwealth Parliamentary Standards Bill, and that would be to establish for the very first time in the federal parliament a code of conduct for MPs and a Parliamentary Standards Commissioner. Now, that's a really important bill, given the circumstances that we're seeing in the Parliament right now.
A reported sexual assault happened just metres from the Prime Minister's office. This is a moment that requires leadership, and it requires leadership from this Prime Minister.
The Human Rights Commission's Respect at Work report recommended corporations have a code of conduct and measures to ensure the board is informed of any material breaches of it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like it would make the MP's code of conduct and also the Minister's code of conduct enforceable in some way.
So the Minister's Code of Conduct is a different thing. That's established.
Yeah, that exists already. Yeah.
That exists, but it's a black box essentially.
Yeah.
It's established by the Prime Minister of the day. However, every cabinet minister is a member of Parliament first and foremost. Mm-hmm. So by setting out a code of conduct for all MPs, then we set a standard and a culture that we must adhere to. It really is about a prospective way of ensuring that when you enter into political life, that you know what's expected of you. And right now, amazingly, there is no such code of conduct. We've seen these codes introduced in other parliaments around the world, and indeed my bill is based on similar codes in places like the United Kingdom, for example. It won't fix everything, but it's an excellent first step, and I think it's important for the nation to know that there are members in this place who want to see such a set of conditions and want to see that there would be a Parliamentary Standards Commissioner who could not only enforce that code of conduct but could assist members of Parliament in any questions they may have and could assist their staff.
Yeah, because there's an advisory office as well.
Yeah, that's right. So again, it's a very good faith piece of legislation. Really, it's about a prospective way of making sure that we know what it is we need to do. And you might argue that you should already know what to do, but in every profession in the nation there are codes of conduct. This is not an unusual step.
Yesterday, Brittany decided not to have me read the words. Instead, Brittany wanted to say those words herself.
There is a confronting sense of banality about sexual violence in our community. I was raped inside Parliament House by a colleague, and for so long it felt like the people around me only cared because of where it happened and what it might mean for them. It was so confusing because these people were my idols. I had dedicated my life to them. They were my social network, my colleagues, and my family. And suddenly they'd treated me differently. I wasn't a person who'd just gone through a life-changing traumatic event. I was a political problem. Amanda Vanstone, a former Liberal minister, summed it up the other day. If there was a young girl alleging she had been raped in a different office, would it be on the front page? No, it wouldn't. I think Miss Vanstone's missing the point. There is a horrible societal acceptance about sexual violence experienced by women in Australia.
In terms of what's currently going on in Parliament, and there's a march outside today, how could your Parliamentary Standards Bill improve things for women in Parliament?
It could improve things quite considerably, I believe. I think that in the situation that we've been hearing about over the past month with a parliamentary staffer who had serious allegations to make around sexual assault in this place, that member of staff would have somewhere directly to go, and that would be the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner. The minister who was employing that member of staff would have somewhere to go to say, what do I do? It would be a mechanism and a process that would be there to support staff and to support MPs.
Okay. I'm just wondering, because it may not be relevant in terms of the bill, but if you remember, there was a story about Bridget Higgins' boyfriend being targeted and is no longer able to do his role as a lobbyist. Not that I particularly want to stand up for lobbyists, but that seems to be quite unfair. So in terms of, I noticed that there's sort of family of and things like that. Would a boyfriend be included in that?
So the story of Ms Higgins is now widely reported on, and there have been allegations of backgrounding on her partner. Again, as a member of staff in this place, Ms Higgins would have the capacity to go to the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner and make a complaint about that.
And former staff as well.
And former staff. Yeah. So again, it's this is a bill that's sitting before the House now. If it was debated, we could unpack many of the elements of that bill and ask those very questions. Would it remedy a situation such as this? Does it need amending? And my argument is that we're scrambling in this Parliament right now to find ways to make sure that this is a safe workplace and that this is a place that would be best practice, an employer of choice, let's say. So this bill is there on the notice sheet. We could debate it this week if the government chose to, and all of those questions could be included in that debate.
So has either bill been debated yet?
No, it hasn't. And so the Australian Federal Integrity Commission 2020, which is an extremely important bill to establish for the very first time an integrity commission in the federal parliament, the only parliament in the nation that doesn't have such a body, that's sitting there. And this sister bill, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Standards Bill, is sitting there. I've called on the government many times to bring this bill on for debate. I could think of no better time than now to do this. I mean, the best time would have been October when I introduced it, obviously. We could have already had the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner in place by now.
It somehow seems more urgent now.
Well, I think the horrendous events that have unfolded here have brought to life the exact issues that we do not wish to see here. And it has exposed the conflicts that occur in this place, and it's exposed the glaring gap that we have in structural process to deal with such things.
Okay. Thank you, Helen.
No worries, Wayne.